This is Luke 21, starting at 7. And it says, And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And I'm going to skip to verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shatir from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this preset was inspired by a video that I saw on TikTok of what's been kind of going on in Saudi Arabia and Dubai, minus the obvious Instagram stuff. But yeah, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, man, they getting the Lord jacking them up, man, big time, big time. But we gonna play this video because it can show you a whole lot better than what I could say. Yeah, the Lord jacking Ishmael up really bad. Now I've heard that Dubai flooding it's not necessarily an uncommon thing, but this is on a whole nother level. All right, and this is the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, we're living in a time where you can see that the Lord is visiting the earth and he's displaying his indignation upon all people, even his own. Okay, let me read that again. Luke 21, and 11. And it says, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights. That's a fearful sight. To wake up one morning and your entire town is completely submerged under 2, 3, and 4 feet of rushing water. And winds that are, you can tell, that are easily blowing over 80 miles an hour, blowing cars, tearing down signs. That is a fearful sight and a great sign from the heaven, because this earth is getting plagued with judgments that we have not seen ever in the history. Not as far as we haven't seen it, but we haven't seen it to the magnitude that it's been in the history of mankind. And I want to get that word for fearful in Luke 21. Luke 21, we get to 11. Fearful sights.
Strong's G 5400.
Phobetron.
Phobetron.
It says that which strikes terror, a terror, cause of fright. Woo. It says a frightening thing, fearful sight. Okay. Hey, as you can see on these videos, these floods stroke great terror in the sights in the sight of the people of Ishmael. You got folks getting blown over, folks getting wiped away, folks' houses being blown and drift carried off in the current. Right, that's a fearful sight to see that your whole town has become flooded. And that to fix that place, it's going to take hundreds and hundreds and even billions of dollars to repair. And see, as I mentioned earlier, this is all the indignation of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because as the scripture says, yes, it says 2nd Ezra 8. I might have to start up. Nope, 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter times, which we are in, shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. And Ishmael, just like many of the other nations, they walk in great pride. Okay, many of those Ishmaelites, those families, all right, they have hundreds of billions of dollars from businesses, oil, you name it. Okay, they walk in great pride because they've been able to establish themselves in the world as a force to deal with, if not on a military level, on a financial level. All right, not only that, these guys also had a hand in making sure that we stayed oppressed. Okay, they also had a hand in the slave trade. And not to mention, as I said earlier, about the whole Instagram thing. All right, you got a lot of these sheiks and kings and princes over there in Saudi Arabia. All right, they're taking a lot of our women. They take all these other nations, but they're taking a lot of our nation of women, particularly the northern kingdom of our nation, flying them over there and using them as portal potties. All right, that's a very prideful and disgusting thing. All right, and the Lord is now calling into judgment the wickedness of the nation of Ishmael. As the scripture said, because they have walked in great pride. And see, now is the time, as the scripture said in the latter end, hey, that the Lord is visiting the earth. It's time for people to start paying up for all the wickedness that they've done. As spoken of, when you go to Galatians 6:7, and it says, "Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." Okay? And as I mentioned earlier, okay, Ishmael also had his hand in our oppression. He also had a hand in our slave trade when you go to, or the slave trade. Psalm 83. And I'm going to just start at 2. Psalm 83 and 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, because they also know who we are. All right, I believe a brother did a video where there was some Jake pastor that actually got a letter from the Ishmaelites stating that there's a certain group of people in Israel right now who have no spiritual or blood connection to the original Israelites of that land. Okay? And they've been sitting on this information for a long time. They've known who we are, but because not knowing who we are benefited them, they didn't care to do it. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. All right. It says, for the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, who we all know are what we call today the Arabs or the Arab world. They are the Ishmaelites, the people in Saudi Arabia, the people in Dubai. They are the Ishmaelites. Okay, and because they've been doing this wickedness for so long, the Lord is paying them back by jacking them up with them floods. And as we get closer to the end, the indignation of the Lord is only going to intensify. All right, these guys thought that these floods were something. You ain't seen nothing yet. The Lord has a whole bag full of judgments that we can't even wrap our minds around, but we're going to eventually see it. And right now, as it pertains to what's going over right there in Saudi Arabia, hey, they getting a judgment too. Not only that, they also getting a judgment with this war. So, but I ain't gonna speak too much on that because, hey, that's a very sensitive topic right now that could easily get a page struck. But yeah, it's well deserved. But nonetheless, that's all I want to say on that. I hope you all were edified. To the next time, we're gonna say shalom.